It probably would have taken me realistically, even if watching all the correct content, implementing all the correct steps, I would assume to get to my first $18,000 a month at the pace that I was going, probably would have taken me at least a year. Low ticket offers are, you can make a lot of money, but they are the hardest thing ever to sell. And I was going to start implementing some of those things. And then a light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, well, why don't I just pay to take the shortcut?
I cannot stress how excited I am to be sharing this with you today, because this client that I'm going to be interviewing was trying to sell their coaching for $97 for 3 months straight, and they made 0 sales. But as soon as they onboarded with us, the first month of launching, we were able to collect $18,000. And this whole interview will be breaking down exactly what their experience was working with us and what we actually did to achieve that $18,000 mark and what the future actually holds for us in order to make more money with this offer. So I can promise you that it is going to be a very valuable video. It will give you insights into exactly how you can go from 0 to $10,000, $20,000 a month very, very quickly. And I mean, within 30 days. And I'm sure that you are actually going to enjoy hearing how all of this was made possible in just a span of 30 days of actually launching this offer. So without further ado, I'm just going to stop the yap and I'm just going to get straight into it. Okay. Pleasure to have you on here, Etienne. For the people watching, Etienne is a client of mine, has been a client of mine for the last 60 days, and we are still ongoing. However, Etienne, I'll give you the spotlight. Just give the people watching an introduction of yourself, a little background about yourself for people to just get to know you a little more.
Awesome. Yeah. My name is Etienne. I have built a $1 million plus exotic car rental business. I've been in the industry for about 8 years. I have had many failed attempts at other businesses prior to that. And yeah, so within the last 8 years, I grew that company to be making about $150,000 a month. I have since left that business partnership back almost half a year ago and have decided to full-time go into coaching and teaching other people how to start their own car rental businesses, both economy cars and exotic cars, and essentially just making sure that they don't make very, very expensive mistakes that are much too common when it comes to this industry.
For sure. I think we could both agree that it is a pretty risky business model to some extent. I mean, like you can win a lot and you can lose a lot to some extent. I guess speaking along the lines of coaching, if you could just kind of give them a summary of what your current offer is, what you're actually selling, and how it works.
Yeah. So as I said, doing a coaching offer for car rental businesses. The offer itself includes a 10-week program that's a one-on-one mentorship where they get 1 hour a week with me, one-on-one. I'm giving students extra time as well. So they have direct access to me pretty much at any point in time throughout their 10-week journey. That also comes with a video curriculum that's 8 hours plus of content that they will have access to indefinitely, as well as legal templates, and just literally diving in on each meeting into their particular situation. So what are their goals? Some people are starting from nothing. They want to do only economy cars on Turo. Turo is a car sharing platform. Other people want to do only exotic rentals on the private side of things. So ranging from a wide array of different backgrounds, and essentially just curating to whatever they want. And so we spend each session focused on their particular goals and what background they come from as far as business experience, and really just tailoring everything from setting up the entity structure to their first rentals, how to acquire vehicles on the consignment model, which is something that I focus my teachings on, which is essentially renting out other people's vehicles. You can look at it kind of like a property management style of business, where you take someone's vehicle, put it under contract, rent it out on their behalf. And a lot of people are not familiar with that business model. So teaching them how to scale fast with really being asset light.
Yeah, solid. And I think anybody can really get into this business, even from just the last 60 days of really working on this offer. What we've kind of come across is we've had 2 different types of people come to us, right? We've had people who already have the money. They already have the money to buy an expensive car and just start renting it out. And we've had a mix of people who are just really fresh into everything. They were just working a 9 to 5, perhaps not making as much money, and they want to pivot into just working on their own terms, which is pretty interesting because there isn't that many offers where you have such a large variety of people actually coming to you as an ICP. Whereas I've really enjoyed this offer because we had a pretty good mix of different types of people coming to us. But in terms of actually working together, I'd like to ask you, considering it took us around 20 to 30 days to set everything up. We'll get later, or we'll get into this a bit later into the actual interview on what it looked like before and what the transformation is to what it is like right now. But yeah, from setting it up to actually launching it in about 30 days, we've done about $18,000 on basically a fresh offer that, to my knowledge, hasn't been sold before. No one has paid $3,000 or above for this type of offer from you especially. So I'd like to ask you, what has your experience actually been in the last 2 months of just working with me and my team?
It's been a great experience so far. There's been a lot of one-on-one support. Matt Tass, when we signed on, there wasn't really a given amount of, you get X amount of support and you're limited to that. It was, we have frequent meetings. Sometimes they're 2 hours long. And there was pretty much constant coaching from offer creation, refining the offer, the funnel, and everything including sales coaching and pretty much anything you can imagine that comes with a coaching offer and that's behind the scenes of a coaching offer. There has been support, and it's been very good support for me.
By good support, what specifically about that was good support in terms of, was it more, you got the your questions answered, or is it? Yeah, I guess I'll just let you explain what you
Yeah,
mean by that.
definitely. Yeah, pretty much all my questions answered. And when it comes to really anything, if something went wrong or I wanted something fixed or I wasn't sure about the direction of something, there was prompt responses through our communication channel. There was never really a lag time between responses. Obviously, we're in different parts of the world. And even with that discrepancy, there was always prompt responses. Sometimes I would look and it'd be like, 1 a.m. for Matas, and he's still responding to my messages very promptly. And so, yeah, really the answers to questions and really just certain things that were kind of done for you as well that were just done very, very good, like rebuilding my landing page. I just saw a massive switch up from my previous landing pages and my VSL, and really just perfecting the process for me.
Awesome. I love to hear that little bit of feedback, and I guess just squeezing that little bit more feedback out. I know a lot of coaches, or a lot of these people like myself who help coaches and consultants, that these large, bold claims online, right? You see a bunch of coaches being promised like 100K months in a matter of like 60 days, which is outrageous. And a lot of it is just running ads and very slim profit margins. But from the expectation that you had going into this partnership with me and my team, what was the difference between your expectations going into this and like the reality, or the outcome that we've had even over the last 30 days?
Yeah, my expectation honestly was an actual slower start to things. I did not expect to be closing $18,000 in my first month, especially having ran this offer already for almost 3 months prior to us working together and not having sold a single dime. So in that regard, my expectations were obviously exceeded. Another thing is the type of funnel, and this is how I found Matt House in the first place, was through his YouTube channel, and I found his content very, very informative. And typically, I don't book calls in with people, right? I've been in business for a long time, and I find it to be a massive waste of time most of the time. But he had just given so much value in his videos that really made me want to get on a call with him and pursue the types of funnels that he was discussing on his channel, which came at a lot slower pace. So my expectation was generating a lot more leads, doing a lot more sales calls, having a lot more um, inbound leads that I would then have to manage and try to convert. And it's been sort of opposite from that, which may sound negative, but it's not, because I'm not wasting time on sales calls. Right now, I have a 40% closing rate on my sales calls. I think with YouTube, with YouTube leads, we're around 70%. And prior to working with Matas, I didn't even have a YouTube channel. So he obviously coached me through building the YouTube channel, the kind of content that I should post. And so it's been slow pace, but in a good way. Pretty much any time I spend on sales calls is time that's worth it, whether they are closing on the first call, paid in full, or they're very valuable leads to follow up with in the months to come. And so my expectation was not that at all, because before I was getting a lot of short form content leads through Instagram and just wasting a massive amount of time in my DMs and on calls. And I thought it was just going to be multiplied, but that I would actually close some of those people. And so I guess for the overall experience, it has been very good in regards to not really wasting my time and exceeding my expectations as far as closing rates. It's very satisfying when you know that you're closing almost one out of two sales calls, if not more.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think we were having a conversation about this earlier, how most coaches in the space low-key have it backwards. They, I guess I don't really blame them, because that's what everyone in the industry is like pushing, but it's like post content, build a personal brand. And people think that like views equal money and volume is what's also going to equal money. And you'll see people in the exact same position as us where they're doing $10,000, $20,000 a month, but they're practically working all day. And I don't think we've actually had a day where we had more than like 2 free sales calls. I think over
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire month, we've taken like 13. I think you've taken about 13 sales calls. We've closed 40% of those sales calls. Some of these people we still have to follow up with, whether that's gathering or getting a deposit from them, or just they're not ready yet, which is also an aspect that you have to take into account when selling something like coaching. It really anything. Sometimes the timing's just not right. I hate to use that as an excuse, but sometimes that really just is the case. For some people, it's just not the right timing to take action. I guess my main question right now is like, you mentioned for 3 months you were running that offer and you weren't selling. You didn't make a single sale. How did we actually help you structure the offer for it to actually become sellable to the audience? Do you think we curated the actual audience, or do you think we revamped the actual structure of everything in order to make it sellable? And if so, how?
Well, I'll start by saying that you guys definitely helped me revamp the funnel, which I guess is curating the audience. I think the offer itself is fairly much the same, but I guess the way we present it is a lot different. And it was really just creating more friction within the funnel, which I thought would be obviously kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, but it is not. And so it was really just refining the audience and who we're targeting and how we're getting those leads. And a lot of that was done organically, or all of it was actually done organically. We haven't even touched the paid ad side of things yet. And the actual offer wasn't per se changed, but it was made in a way that is presentable. And how do you present that on a sales call to actually make the client benefit, make sure that they're a good fit for the program? But obviously with that closing rate, everyone that comes onto the call already kind of has the intention of following through with a program or some sort of coaching. And so I think it really came down to changing the landing page, the VSL, where the leads are coming from, and just how that whole funnel is structured and curating that audience.
Yeah, yeah, I'm completely with you. I think what you've experienced, and this is the main strategy that we take with pretty much every single client we take on, is like we were speaking about it earlier. It's not like an assault rifle where you're just like spraying everywhere, getting a whole load of people coming through. It's more like we're very precise with the type of person we are attracting, which ends up you not having to work that much, not having to take that many sales calls, but still making equally the same amount of money, really, if not more, even, because you're not reaching burnout because you're speaking to a whole load of idiots. You're not reaching burnout because you're like, all right, I've taken 10 sales calls and every single person said they need to think about it. And, they need to just think things over and see whether they can grab up the money to actually pay you. most of the people, some of them, well, actually the majority still had objections, which is completely normal. Actually, I don't know if that's, I don't know the statistic behind that. I don't know if it's majority, but we definitely had people who had objections, and we had other people who just messaged you straight saying, "Hey, Etienne, I saw your YouTube channel. Just wanted to let you know I run this, this, and this. I literally have the money for it. Just let me know how much it costs. I'm more than happy to run a call and just pay you right there and then." And we've had quite a few people who were just like that, which honestly you would never get if you weren't on YouTube with the correct funnel. And I think anybody who isn't on YouTube could possibly agree, and anyone who is on YouTube would also agree.
Right. And I guess in a sense, the offer was a bit refined. The core offer, which was obviously the end goal, was my high ticket program, which is the same exact offer it is. But we had an offer previous, which was the low ticket offer. And that was more volume focused and trying to get a bunch of leads through short form content and getting them to pay a low fee to eventually then convert them to the high ticket offer, because obviously that is what was beneficial. So I guess the biggest refinement within my offer was completely getting rid of the low ticket offer. And to be honest, in my almost 3 months of previous attempt, I couldn't even close low ticket, right? And so a $97 low ticket offer was unclosable. I would spend so much time in the DMs. And so just completely getting rid of that offer um, just made it one core offer and one thing to focus on.
Yeah, no. Low ticket is horrible. I would not
I
recommend low
would
ticket
agree.
unless
I
you're
would
like a
agree.
creator. But if you're
I,
a
I
business,
had I heard recently a creator speaking on um, low ticket offers are, you can make a lot of money, but they are the hardest thing ever to sell.
yeah, because everyone is just trying to get a discount. I've
Right.
worked on offers where they were low ticket and they always don't have the money. They're trying to bargain the price down. Can you give me a discount? Can you give me a discount? Or when is your next discount going to happen? It's a headache, and then just you have to worry about those people not churning after that, which is also, it is a headache to some extent. I think anybody who runs a community would definitely agree, because it's just constant work. It never stops. But
100%.
I guess from these last 60 days, kind of revamping my question a little bit, what was the main thing that actually did stick out to you from everything that we have worked on? Is there anything in particular that really stuck out?
The number one thing, and I did not expect this going into it, was actually Matt has coaching me through the actual sales of my offer. I really didn't think, because I had obviously grown a very successful business and I had had a multiple six-figure business before that as well, selling cheaper products and then selling the idea of getting people to purchase, Lamborghinis for my fleet, and really converting people to buy $300,000 cars for me to rent on their behalf. It became natural and it was an easy process. So when I was getting on sales calls selling, a product that was 1% of the value of that, and finding it like how hard it actually was to get people to step over the line. So I'd get off of some of these calls before hiring Matas. Obviously, I didn't close any of them, and thinking, well, how is it that I can sell people on a $5,000-$10,000 rental? I can get them to buy a $300,000 car, but I can't get them to invest in themselves to really break free from their current way of life. Like, why is that such a hard sell? And so that's not even what I was looking for going into the program. It was an added bonus for sure. So we would go through the Fathom recordings, and we would spend extensive time really breaking down the questions I should be asking and really just refining the whole. It wasn't a sales script per se, but the framework of how I was taking sales calls, and really pushing the point that I was actually transforming people's lives and not just selling them some sort of product that they would just waste their money on and move on from. And so that was, I guess, the most unexpected thing that kind of helped me the most so far.
For sure. We saw a very big change in sales when that happened as well, because I just remember watching one call recording, and then I saw the second one, and it was just like the whole vibe completely switched. And I remember, I don't know if that was the call you closed, but I remember just sending you a voice message, and I was like, Etienne, this is like next level. I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what you dreamt of when you were sleeping, but like that call was completely different to the previous one. And it's nice to see, it's satisfying to see the change as well, like with the sales skills and just with the way we're actually converting these people. And it's still outrageous to think that we organically generated $18,000 in revenue in the first month of ever selling the offer, which is it's pretty cool. I guess like even with that said, outside of us working together, what has been your biggest takeaway from everything? Because yeah, you don't necessarily have to sit here and vouch for me or for my team, but what has been like the biggest learning curve and takeaway for you specifically?
The biggest learning curve, I guess, has been to moving from like a traditional business to something that you're actually coaching people through. I get some clients, obviously I have a wide range of clients, and people look for different things within my offer. Some people want to drive cool cars and just get tax benefits. And so I guess this particular question doesn't pertain to those people, but the people that are really trying to break free from their current way of living in their current 9 to 5, and really just coaching through people through their mindset. And I was looking at my offer as more of a like, okay, they're getting X amount to build this business. And I looked almost more at it like a product exchange, right? They're getting this for that, but it's really like coaching people through their mindset and seeing just kind of what gets people to want to get interested in the offer, why they want the offer, and then what's stopping them from taking that action. And it really just comes down to, it's more than just about spending the money for the offer and looking at a particular goal. It's about changing their whole mindset around leaving their job, starting a business, stepping out of their comfort zone, eliminating fear, in their life, and just finally taking a risk on themselves and betting on themselves. And that's just been a really unexpected turn.
Yeah, I agree. I think anybody who runs a successful business right now, I mean, even runs just a regular business, doesn't have to be successful, would agree that, you are just selling something in exchange for money, right? That's just what business is. But when you step into coaching, it just becomes like a whole nother level of personal. And it's in some ways more complex, but in other ways, it's so much more rewarding because when you do see your students start to make money and start to get the results that they initially paid you money for, it is very rewarding. And it's just kind of snowball effect after that. So I totally agree that it is completely different. But I'm glad to hear that you kind of went through that type of learning curve to kind of almost realize that it is very different to just selling, a Lamborghini rental for a day. And it's a lot more personal than that. So, no, that's actually pretty cool to hear. I haven't even thought of it from that perspective before, but it is true because it is definitely a different type of business that you even step into compared to what most people are doing
Right.
nowadays. Really.
Yeah, that was just like a big takeaway that I've realized, and it came through the sales coaching. Obviously refining the funnel to you're getting quality leads where it doesn't feel like you're just selling a product. You feel like you're actually selling a life change for someone, which has been a really cool takeaway for me.
Yeah, no, that's cool to hear. And I guess now as you have generated that $18,000 in your first month of launching the offer, what would you say to a coach who is always now just kind of getting into coaching, or a business owner who is getting into coaching, or someone who has been trying to coach and they haven't made that many sales? They're just kind of struggling to gather these leads consistently and to be able to convert them. What is, I guess, one bit of advice that you would say to this person watching this interview?
Hire Matas. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I would say that they need to shift their focus. So there was someone I was working with before Matas, not on a paid level. It was just a friendship level, someone that I know personally. And they were kind of guiding me and helping me set up my offer. And now watching them currently, I guess, struggle to convert leads now, and I've almost surpassed them when it comes to coaching, they need to focus on getting the right clients and not volume. And I think that's something really hard for us to learn nowadays with social media because everything is about views, followers, engagement, and that's really not what it comes down to. I have made maybe I'm speaking wrong on this, but I firmly believe that I have made more money in my coaching offer than some coaches that have 100,000 followers and they're selling, you know, a lower ticket offer or whatever it is, and their focus is just completely skewed. And so I would say new coaches coming into the space, um, they need to focus on their funnel and getting the right clients on the calls, because otherwise it can be very discouraging if you just have a bunch of tire kickers and people wasting your time, no showing on calls. And if you're selling a lower ticket offer, just wasting a ton amount of time converting low ticket and then taking that low ticket offer through a whole nurturing process for them to maybe convert. So I feel like they just, you know, coaches stepping into the space need to be realistic about what they're doing, not stepping into paid ads right away, wasting a ton of money, not focusing on short form, but focusing on really long form content, YouTube funnel, and just nurturing a small group of people is all it really takes.
I completely agree. I think um, just one thing I like to add, I think it is possible to run it up with just ads right off the bat, but you do genuinely have to know what you're doing, and you are still taking a huge risk. Um,
Right.
I think there is a big risk in just running ads right off the bat. However, I think you made a very good point. And even if we just kind of break the maths down a little bit, we've onboarded 6 students,
Six,
I believe.
correct.
It's 5 or 6, either one. We've onboarded 6 people and we've generated $18,000 in January. So if someone was to want to generate $18,000 in a single month with a low ticket product, let's say it's even $100 a month, which is, I guess, it's a little bit on the higher end, or more like middle to high end of low ticket, because most people sell like $49, $35 sometimes a month. Let's say we're doing 97, or rounded to the nearest hundred, $100 a month. That would still take us 180 sales in a single month to generate $18,000. And that is 180 people to fulfill for and to make sure that they pay the next month. Whereas
Right.
we're just dealing with 6 people.
It's
It's
very easy to nurture. There's not a lot of stress. And then even going back to the paid ads, of course you can be successful off the bat with paid ads, but for, you know, coaching someone that's stepping in from a real business, not that coaching isn't a real business, but you know what I mean, stepping into a more of a coaching role in their life and not having that prior experience, if they just go out and try to run ads themselves, they're going to get very discouraged very fast and they're going to lose a lot of money that way. And especially if they're focused on low ticket, it's just going to take so much effort and so much nurturing to, like you said, 180 clients. That's, you have to run paid ads or you have to have viral content to get that. And then even converting those leads. And on top of that, it's, you're going to get a bunch of refund requests and you're going to get a bunch of time wasters. And if your focus really is to convert those people to high ticket, imagine trying to nurture 180 people to, how do you even nurture them to convert to your high ticket offer? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
it is a little bit of a headache. It's just a numbers game, and there's a lot less of a personal aspect to low ticket coaching, which is why I've always preferred high ticket, because it is a lot more personal. It's a lot more life changing. Very rare that someone pay $97 and completely flip their life the right way up. But you'll rarely see someone paying $3,000 and not give it their best shot. And I've always kind of lived by that. But apart from that, I guess just before we wrap up this interview, this video right here, is there any other bits of information you think that maybe we missed in this interview that you'd like to say to somebody watching this video right here?
I think that if you're thinking about getting into coaching and you haven't yet, you definitely should. It's very rewarding. But again, you need the right guidance. There's a lot of YouTube content out there on how to build this business. And it's funny because it's kind of the funnel that we, you know, Matas follows and that now I follow. But you can gather all of this free information and really you can go out and do it on your own. But I think having that accountability, and I've never hired a coach for anything in my entire life, right? So aside from playing sports, and like taking the leap and hiring that help of the right person that you think is good. So if you see someone putting out a lot of content on YouTube and they're really giving you all the sauce, and you could literally almost just do this on your own, and you're just looking for that accountability or that one-on-one nurturing, like having added benefits like the sales call coaching and things that you can't really just gather from watching videos that you don't know might be, in someone's offer, is to just kind of take that leap of faith in yourself, start the coaching business, and maybe hire the correct help. To be honest, I don't know long term how this would have played out for me if I didn't take the leap of faith in Matas. And maybe there's other people like Matas out there that could have given me the same, better or worse, who knows, type of guidance. But at the end of the day, it was really about accountability and just taking simple little steps that sure I could have gathered from YouTube, but just giving that hands-on touch to refine their offer. And so just taking that leap of faith in yourself and hiring the right guidance. I think that I took a big shortcut. It probably would have taken me realistically, even if watching all the correct content, implementing all the correct steps, I would assume to get to my first $18,000 a month at the pace that I was going, probably would have taken me at least a year. And then going forward, now, we have the organic side of things. And going forward, we're going to be, looking into other ways of growth, such as paid advertising. And I just don't know that every step along the way, how long that learning curve would have taken me. And so, I'm selling a coaching offer. I also hired a coach in a sense, and it really makes sense to just have someone kind of speed up that process for you. And so for someone getting into the business, they should expect, obviously, organic takes time. You have to nurture it a little bit to an extent. But I think if you have the right process, this can be, if you know how to actually grow and build a business and you think you have the confidence to teach that to somebody else, I think you should do it 100% and don't hesitate to sort of take a step down on your ego and hire someone to help you.
I definitely agree. I mean, of course I'd agree. But no, I definitely agree that you can definitely take a huge shortcut, because I think with what I've realized is with a lot of normal businesses, nothing like this new era of business, but like, let's say you're running a regular brick and mortar business, there is very little amount of variables, unless you're running a law firm, for example. But there isn't that many things that can go wrong. It's very much just ones and zeros. It's like, if this isn't working, okay, this is the problem. If this isn't working, then that's the problem. And outsourcing is a lot easier. Whereas what I found in online coaching is there are a lot of variables as to, like, there are at least 10 different variables as to why you are not closing deals. It's always, you could be attracting the wrong people. Maybe you're not attracting enough people. Maybe you're not nurturing them correctly. Maybe your sales calls are just really trash. Maybe your warm-up sequence is just very trash. There are just so many things that could potentially go wrong, which is why it's not easy to take it on yourself, but it's 100% possible. And if there is anybody who is watching, not trying to plug myself or anything, but first link in the description. But if you are looking to, shave that learning curve off and you are just looking to get results instantly, I would, even if I was, I guess, a coach as well, highly recommend for someone to pay to shave that learning curve off. I've done it myself. You've done it as well. And I'm pretty sure every single person that you look at in the industry has done it at least once. So I completely agree with you.
And coming from a space where I have hired a lot of in-house help for things, it just becomes very difficult to manage. And so just paying someone that's external, that has the knowledge, that has a proven system. Obviously, you've done this many times over again for yourself and for others. That speaks volumes. And so I wasn't even seeking external guidance when I found you. I was literally just watching content, and I was going to start implementing some of those things. And then a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, well, why don't I just pay to take the shortcut? Because obviously he knows what he's talking about. And so you can see the kind of genuineness through someone's content. And so when you are picking a coach, make sure that reflects in their content. They're not just running a bunch of paid ads trying to get you with, 10-second hooks. You can buy this Lamborghini in a year of working with me, and just having realistic expectations. And Matas has been a great example of that.
For sure. I really appreciate the kind words. And I appreciate you hopping on this interview with me today. It means a lot. I know we've done pretty good last month, and there's only better months to come. And hopefully we can even run an interview back very, very soon where we're doing much larger numbers and see what the progress has been and what new things we have learned in our partnership together.
I would love to. And as a disclaimer, before this call, we didn't sit here and strategize. Oh, you should answer this. You should answer that. Mata said, I have X amount of questions for you. Just answer them truthfully. And so everything I've said here has been the truth and has been my true experience. So thank you
I
again for
appreciate
all
that.
the help so far. And I'm looking forward to crushing it, especially come summertime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. Now, I really do hope that you found this interview valuable. And if you want me to help you, just like I've helped Etienne, I'll leave the first link in the description where you can book in for a business audit call with me. This isn't a hard pitch sales call. It's a call directly with me where I look at your business, see if there's any bottlenecks that could potentially be fixed, and maybe we can even fix it on that call. Or we can even discuss how me and my team could literally go into your business, implement these systems, and help you start making money with your coaching or consulting business in literally a space of 30 to 60 days. But other than that, I thank you for watching till the end. I respect you for watching till the end. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.